Well, I've got sports journalist Shayo Wulabi with me in the studio. Hello, Shayo.
Hi, Maiwa. Good morning. Someone said Ramsey scored and Liverpool died. I don't know how true that
is. Interesting. But we'll begin from the home of the champions. That's Chelsea. They fought back gallantly against Watford. But how significant was that, considering their recent back-to-back defeats in the Premier League?
Well, stuff of champions. When Watford went 2-1 up, I actually thought it was going to stay like that, like we've seen with the previous losses in the league. But then they showed stuff of champions. They showed they still have it in them, the fighting spirit, the coordination, and of course, digging from the bench is always beautiful for a team. If a player comes off the bench to score, and that's what Batshuayi did for the side, it was a fantastic comeback for them. And definitely Chelsea still in reckoning and definitely want to watch out for in the Premier League.
But Antonio Conte says he doesn't fear the sack, but you can see the worrying signs are there, especially with injuries as well.
Oh, well, I'm sure he'll be there till the end of the season. He probably sees that, he knows that, and except results go down south, and I don't see that happening. It will be there and thereabouts till the end of the season. Chelsea may not retain the league, and I don't think anyone will begrudge them if that happens. They're playing more games this season. Injuries would definitely tell, like it's done already on the side. So really, he knows what he sees. He will be there till the end of the season, in my opinion, if at all, he's going to leave Chelsea.
All right, let's switch our focus to Manchester United then. They are shocked 2-1 defeat against Huddersfield at the weekend. Drew a lot of, criticism. Yeah. For me, Victor Lindelof, the defender, was really awful. We're discussing that just now.
Yes, he brought an L, like his name, to the side. Woeful defending. You would have thought he is a player coming off the bench and hasn't had games under his belt, but he's played in the Champions League, the biggest stage in European football. Quality of the sides in the Champions League can be compared. Some are even better than others field. So there was really nothing for him to fear. But then we saw he was short on confidence. He probably didn't have his mind in playing that game. You know how a player is on the bench and is just comfortable with the two guys who are occupying his slot and saying, you guys should just go on. He's urging them on. But that didn't happen. Jones with the injury very early on in the game, that threw him in the battlefield, and he didn't cover himself in glory. Lots of talk about the fact that that's why Mourinho hasn't played him in the Premier League all the while. And I don't think he will get a lot of games with that kind of performance like we saw on Saturday.
Well, Jose blamed his players' attitude in that game. But to me now, it seems without Paul Pogba and perhaps Eric Bailly in that side, United looked like perhaps a glorified Crystal Palace.
very, very, very true. And maybe when we take out David De Gea, we're as good as some of the teams in the championship. The truth is, we look at the side and you're wondering, why are the players doing what they're doing on the field? You ask yourself as an individual and as a collective unit. Even going down two goals, we've seen United in times past, maybe not in the last 5 years, come back and actually dominate games, even going 2 goals down from quality, but teams with much more quality than others field. But the team was clueless. The guys on the field didn't bring anything to the party. Even when Mkhitaryan came in with, was it Rashford now? Rashford. They were just running around on the pitch. Nothing really to bring to the table. And that's what Mourinho really needs to work on. He needs to get the guys to understand that I need you as an individual to be able to dig out of nowhere to actually get the results. Because for those kind of games, you need individual brilliance. And that's what we didn't get in
Has that got something to do with the depth in squad?
Well, depth in squad, maybe. But like we always say, you went to the market to get those guys. If you didn't need them, they shouldn't be in the squad. Okay. So really, everyone should be able to bring something to the table when you're called upon. So depth in squad may be a factor, but at the same time, you've been called a United player. You were not just brought in yesterday. You've been part of the squad. You trained with the team every week. You should be able to give in a good shift whenever you're called upon.
And the blue side of Manchester now, Manchester City, they are 5 points clear of the chasing pack. They seem to be in a league of their own now, don't they?
Someone said we should wield the trophy there already, maybe until something happens. The truth is, the only team that seems to be able to stop Man City as it is now is Man City. So it's when they press the self-destruct button that anything can happen to the side. Fluid football, everyone giving a good shift, like I pointed out with the Manchester United team. The guys on the bench come in and they give something magnificent, you know, and they're running riot against side, whether you're big, whether you're small. And that's the worrying situation with the team scoring with reckless abandon. even with some injury, light injury worries in the side, you would understand that definitely that's the stuff of champions they're giving, and you need to watch that kind of team all through the season.
Pep Guardiola's men are whipping everyone that comes their way at the moment, and there are already talks of them being invincible, perhaps emulating the Arsenal side of 2003 season.
Can we say that yet? I'm not sure. Maybe
it's
after
just
December.
9 games into the season.
Exactly, it's just 9 games after December. We know there are some stubborn opposition.
They visit West Brom next.
Up again, those kind of games. West Brom with a player like Johnny Evans, who wants to show them that you didn't get me, and I'm still holding it down here. Those kind of games come up, and they're always giving a bit of trouble to the big side. So we need to watch them until about December. Then we can start talking about maybe they will be invincible or not.
All right, to the big games on Sunday then. It began with Arsenal's resounding, a win at Everton. How shambolic was that for you?
Well, Everton, we're still waiting for the sack. If it hasn't happened yet, that's for Ronald Koeman. But really, I haven't gone one up with the Wayne Rooney goal. Everyone thought maybe this was a resurgent Everton side, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Arsenal stormed back with the equalizer and ran riot against them. We all even felt the game was over with a 4-1, but then 2 goals still came in from both sides to end the game at 5-2. Everton, I think it's down to coaching, because you can't go to the market and get all those players and not be able to give a good account of yourself. And like I pointed out, it's happened before. I remember when Southampton shipped out most of the players, went to the markets and brought in players. You need to be able to gel them together as a manager, because you did the buying, maybe with the influence of a technical director or not, but you did the buying and should be able to actually get your guys to get the results on the pitch. But unfortunately, that's not happening for Everton.
Well, they were the third big spenders in the Premier League last season.
Exactly.
You talked about the sack there, but Ronald Koeman believes he's still the man to turn things around for Everton. Would you stick with him?
It's a tough call. It's a tough call. I'm not one for sacking managers, but the truth is, when you leave it too late, the team usually does not recover. I remember the case of Sunderland. They kept faith so much until things went south, and I think they brought in Moyes then, and he couldn't salvage anything. So they really need to look at the balance, give a target. I think we have that in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Get 3 games or you're out. So maybe they need to set a target for him, and that would be where he would actually set his stake and see if he can hold on to the job. And
Wembley is finally feeling like home for Tottenham, isn't it? 4-1 against Liverpool yesterday. It was ruthless from Mauricio Pochettino's side,
and they were having fun. They were having fun. Of course, they were caught napping, which is something they need to watch also. That Sanchez at the back is really not gelling as he should with Alderweireld and Ventogen. But then they were caught napping. The goal came, and we all thought that okay, at 2-1 maybe there's something up the sleeves for Liverpool, but it didn't happen. 4-1 really against a big side is emphatic for Tottenham going into that game at the weekend against Manchester United. For Liverpool, lots of things to reminisce about. Where do they go from here? You played 7-2. Yes, it's Maribor, but then you played 7-2 in midweek in the Champions League. You come back to the league, you expect that, the zeal and the vigor is still there, but that didn't happen for them against Tottenham. Klopp really would be under the radar with that kind of result.
And it was a record attendance as well at Wembley with over 80,000 fans, and the football didn't disappoint.
Exactly. Trust the fans. They love good football. They are beginning to see it with Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Eriksen, and of course Son giving a good shift in there. They're beginning to see it, and the fans will definitely keep enjoying the best of football at Wembley.
And Liverpool's defending yesterday was atrocious, to say the least, and even Jurgen Klopp himself admitted he would have done better if he were on the pitch.
Oh well, maybe not, but then everyone gave the stick to Lovren, but I didn't think it was all about Lovren.
Taken off just
if we were to compare Lovren's performance to Lindelof's performance in the Manchester United game, you definitely would know that Lovren wasn't really to blame in that game. I think it was down to the back 4, and that's exactly what happened. They didn't really have a coordinated performance, and it's down to the goalkeeper to get much of that. Because when you look at the first goal, for example, he didn't make the timing. The timing was wrong for him to step out, and that's it. If you coordinate your defense as a goalkeeper, then I think you can get everything right. So the defending shambolic, Klopp needs to get that right, but then it's not down to personnel. I think it's down to something they're doing wrong amongst themselves in the back 4.
Well, interesting. It seems Tottenham perhaps are the only side now who can stop Manchester City. They visit Manchester United next Saturday, and they are level on points with the Red Devils as well.
Definitely. We'll see how that goes.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Shayo, for your time on the program.
For being here.